switching back and forth. And I mean, we jumped from shorts to
Yeah.
long to now podcast.
I know. Let's go. We did. Do it working.
Yeah. All right. What is going on, everybody? We are back with another episode of the What's Your Hustle podcast. I have Joey Donofrio with me today. Man, you do a lot. You have a lot going on. But the main thing I kind of wanted to touch on was your virtual assistant business that we've kind of talked and worked with.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about it.
Well, I have a passion for helping small businesses and business owners kind of get out of their own way. I've done some coaching. I've been coached. I've given free advice. And, when I got into the realm of like business coaching, I was thinking, what's the hardest thing for a business owner to do? And it's to get out of their own way. And so I was like brainstorming lead magnets, how can I get people to trust me? And it kind of organically fell into Virtual Concierge Services, where I can help business owners get out of their own way, bring on somebody who can do the tasks that they don't like to do or they don't want to do. Because let's face it, we got into business, or our first business, right? Because we were good at something. We were good at providing a service. Maybe we had a product idea.
Yeah.
And that's what our passion lied. It didn't lie in bookkeeping. It didn't lie in scheduling and lead generation. Managing, email management, customer inquiries, customer issues, resolving customer issues. And so it kind of organically bled into like, okay, I can help business owners get back to what they're really passionate about, which is growing their business, focusing on their product, focusing on their service, by giving them employees at very cost-effective strategy. And, what's one of the biggest challenges of hiring employees? Managing them. We do all that for you, right?
That's all. Yeah, no, guilty as charged.
Yeah.
I got into the videography because I enjoy it. I love creating.
Yeah.
But then I quickly realized, well, you have the business of what you do, and then you have the business of what you have to manage.
Yeah.
That managing side is a little bit tougher than people, I think, make it out to be. Some people love it. Some people, that's what they do. For example, I had a real estate agent where it's her and her husband. She is the kind of front of house, right? If you ever worked in a restaurant, front of house. He's more of the back of house. And they both love that role. But for somebody, like myself, I'm a one-man wrecking crew right now, right? And it's one of those where I've thought of the idea of bringing people on. I've thought of the idea of having an employee, so to speak. And I was like, man, I don't think I can bring that kind of cost on.
Yeah.
And enter a virtual assistant. That's where, and I think we've talked about it plenty. That's where it gets beneficial. And now I have two that I have essentially full time. And they help me with a lot of that stuff. And I think, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, part of that is at the beginning, I felt like I was managing, I had all this work I was doing, and then I was handing them things to do. Then I felt like my time shifted from doing the work to now just managing that the work is getting done. Yeah. And that's where you kind of helped along the way, right? So and I'll let you kind of speak on it a little bit more.
Well, I think, you hit the nail on the head. You get into business, right? You're growing, you get good word of mouth because you do a good job, you provide a good service, you have a good product, right? So business is coming in organically, and now you're like, okay, now I have to hire. Well, there's a cost to that. It's kind of like you're blindly seeing the ROI. Now, as being in business, I know that there is an ROI on hiring the right people.
Yeah.
Right. So now you bring on somebody, you're paying them decent to get a good quality person. And you're right. Now it becomes, oh my God, I have to manage these people. And you're thinking to yourself, I don't even like people, right? Like, but seriously, right? And now I'm dealing not just with the work that they do, I'm dealing with managing their personal life. The issues that they had getting into work that morning, the issues that they have going on in their personal life, it all bleeds into what you're doing. And you're like, I have my own problems. I don't want to have to deal with somebody else's problems. And it's hard. Management isn't for everybody, and this is where we can come in and really help a business owner. I think determining what's your weaknesses and what's your strengths.
I mean,
right?
that's definition what, as a business, the self-reflection, I think that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Figure out what you're good at and what you're not good at. And what you're not good at or what you're not efficient at, outsource
Yeah.
it. Get somebody that is good at that. Everybody has that kind of, that where they fall in, where they can help, especially, like you said, working with somebody like you,
Oh yeah.
finding the right people for what you need.
Yeah. Exactly. And you sometimes we think like, oh, I'm good at casting vision. I'm good at like, doing growth and not in the dreamer aspect of it, getting people to buy into that common vision and goal. What I'm not good is at the processes.
Yeah.
I can manage that. I can, keep track of it. I can delegate. But where I'm weak in those areas, other people are strong, and that's actually where they find comfort. So don't think because you're strong in one area, oh, I don't know how anybody else could do that job. No, there's people that actually want to do that job and that are great at that job. And hiring the right people, right? If you ever read the book, it's not the how, it's the who.
Yeah.
It's the who in your business is how you get to the next level. It's not the how. Hiring the right people that can solve issues without you, that can overcome obstacles, that can do their job and do it with a smile on their face, right? That's where Virtual Concierge comes in, because we can get those right people, get the right people on the bus so the bus is going in the right direction. And basically, my whole goal is to come in where business owners are weak and make them strong. And where you are weak, I may be strong, right? And where I'm weak, the virtual assistants may be strong. So I have to understand at Virtual Concierge Service, running it, where the business owner is weak, where you are weak, and then let's hire to your strengths. So you may not need the same VAs that I need, because your strengths may be different than mine. So I may need a different set of VAs than you. And so it's not a one size fits all. And I almost hate the term virtual
Excuse me.
I almost hate the term virtual assistant, because they're so much more than that.
Yeah.
They are, when you work with our business and our company, they're employees of us, but they work just for your business.
Yeah. They focus on what you have going on. And I think that's a crucial part, because especially in the videography world, right? You can outsource editing, you can outsource cold outreach, all these different things. And I think what kind of, because I've gone many different routes of how to find help. Per project is tough. It's good when you're first starting out, especially if you're not consistent, you don't have consistent work coming in. It's good to kind of budget. But where I kind of made that transition or flipped over was, I need somebody long-term, because I don't want to have to explain every single time, this is what we're doing. This is my business. This is how we do this. Yeah. I want to just be able to say, hey, do it once, right? With a little help and guidance, but now they know. Now they're a part of the team, and I think that's the biggest part, because now you can take the first week of onboarding, and have to explain and do the whole thing, and then if you have a high turnover rate, right? If they're not available, right? Especially the per project, sometimes they're like, I have too much, I can't get it done in the time frame of what you're looking for. Now, I want somebody dedicated to me.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: so how does that question look from you with the business? So do you guys sit down from the very beginning and hash out like, hey, teach me about your business, give me the full story of your business, and then you kind of figure out, or do you have like a system in place to kind of vet businesses?
I mean, if you're looking to hire, right, I need to know about your business. I need to know your goals.
Bring me in.
Yeah, I need to know your values, right? The job of a leader, and so, is to align the employees with the company, with their goals, with their vision. So if I don't understand that, how can I bring on the right person for you? Because that person has to be aligned with your mission, with your core values, with your vision. And if they're not, any employee, if they're not, they shouldn't be working for your company. So what I want to make sure is, one, you want to grow and that you're aligned with Virtual Concierge Service in the matter of growth and business growth, because we're cost effective, but don't hire us because you're hiring cheap cheap workers. That's not what I want. I want us to be aligned. And then I'm going to bring on people for your business, and then we got to get them aligned with your mission. And as long as our businesses are aligned. One of the things that you said about, making sure that they work just for you so you don't have to retrain. This is a problem that I had with one of my inspection business when I had a call center. When I hired a call center, that call center was answering the phones for 8 other inspection companies, and they had a high turnover rate. So you weren't getting the personalized service to your customers. Somebody that I didn't know was answering the phones, because it was just luck of the draw, who's ever working that shift.
Whoever's available.
Exactly. Yep. So now, which a lot of service-based businesses use call centers. Now it's less expensive than a call center. I get personalized service, and they work just for me. So again, when they make a mistake or there's an issue, I correct it. It doesn't happen again.
But then they learn, like you're saying, what they learn from it.
They learn
right?
From
They're
mistakes.
growing with the business. I mean, that's if you think you're going to get into business and never make a mistake or never make a decision, you're like, man, I probably shouldn't have gone that route. You're crazy. Yeah. I mean, like that's just the natural flow. But the important part is that you learn from it. Exactly. And that's with any employee that you have within your business, right? So like if you do have a VA, letting them and also not holding such a strict, like as soon as they kind of fumble, right? Something comes up, you're like, oh, that's it. I need to bring somebody else in. No, let them develop with you, right? Yeah. You're not perfect. They're not perfect. But as long, and again, working with you, finding the person that lines up with the values and the beliefs and your business, they'll be more motivated than you realize, because they'll want to make sure that it's right. Because at the end of the day, they'll probably like working with your business if you find that right fit. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, and this is why there's so much more than just like a virtual assistant. When you hear that term, right? I have a virtual assistant that is my manager. She manages my businesses. She is like my executive assistant. And I told her the same exact thing. I said, hey, Nix, you can make decisions without me. As long as it's not like a costly decision, right? I want you to just, if I'm unavailable, make the decision. Make what you think is the best decision based on our values and our mission. And I said, worst case scenario, you make a decision that I don't necessarily agree with, but we can talk about it after.
And work through it together.
Exactly. I want you to get, and the said that to her, I want her to get comfortable to make those decisions because I want her to build as a leader.
Yeah.
And as a manager. And if she can't make those decisions or needs a crutch every time, it's going to destroy her confidence. So when we bring somebody on, I hope that they grow with your business. I hope that they can level up within your business, because that's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
Is growth. And so everything, if our goal is growth, right? And your goal is growth as a business, then I have to create growth opportunities within VCS, and you have to create growth opportunities within your business.
And it's the same thing that you do for yourself, right? As the business, just like you're saying, you want to grow, you want to scale, you want to do all these things. The best way to do that is set everybody up that's involved in your business, right? A virtual assistant, yourself also. And how do we grow? How do we grow together? Because like, it's interesting, especially that you bring up your assistant. So with my assistant, Victor, he is phenomenal, like out of the park, just is great. I think one of the things that I'm trying to help him with is that very thing of if you need to make a decision, or if you think we should go a certain way, bring it to me, right? And if I'm not available, go with it. I think like we've worked together long enough that I trust you, right? You're like, I think you know what's best for the business. There's certain things that I'll say, okay, definitely, if it falls under this category, right?
Yeah.
We need to kind of have a game plan before we make that decision. But with like minor things or at first there was a lot of, hey, can you check over this and make sure everything's good? No, I'll look at it, but I don't want you to think that you have to get everything approved or checked off by, like,
every little
at
menial
first,
task.
yeah, at first, yeah, right. That's the onboarding process, making sure that they do align. But the biggest thing is, like, I trust you. Like, you've already proven that you're a hard worker, that you know, so finding that right fit. And the biggest thing is working with somebody that can help you find that right fit. You know, and that's the bit, because I didn't know. I went into it blind, essentially, right, when I first started. And I was like, well, let me just hire per project. That makes the most sense, because then I can just budget out per project what it would cost to have whoever work on whatever it is that we're doing.
Yeah.
And then it quickly snowballed. And I was like, whoa, hold on a second. But, you know, with working with you and talking with you, like, that's where my mindset shifted a little bit. And I think that's the biggest thing, is businesses don't realize the value in what you get from a virtual assistant, but then also what you do as far as helping them understand that, helping them get through that onboarding.
Yeah. I mean, that's everything, right? Like, I don't need space fillers in my business.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need you just to answer emails.
Clock in, clock out.
Yeah. I need you to help me grow.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I'm hiring, is for growth. I'm not hiring to free up my time. It does, right? But I need to hire you because for a greater purpose, which is growth. And that's why we bring on employees, to grow. Yeah, we're using leverage, we're delegating tasks, but I want to delegate it to the right people that understand my business, understand my mission, understand my values. You could hire any kind of virtual assistant out there. There's tons of them, but are they going to be working directly for you? Do they know your mission? Do they know your values? Are they in alignment with you? If they're not, why are you hiring them?
I feel like that at that
because
point,
they're cheap. Like that, to me, that doesn't make sense as a business that wants to grow. And so that's why with us, I almost look at us as a training organization. We do training weekly and every other week. We do a company-wide training, and I want them to feel comfortable going into a business, working in that business, and helping that business owner find inefficiencies in their business so they can become more efficient. For me, it's not just about them doing the tasks they were hired to do, but hey, where can that business grow in other areas? And I think that's why it's important to, one, partner with the right partners, right? Because in business, you're going to have that opportunity. It's not just virtual assistant partners, but every partner that you partner with, do you share the same values? Do you share the same mission? Are you guys both growth oriented as a partnership? Because if you're not, why are you partnering with them?
Yeah.
Right.
It makes perfect sense. And it's the same idea if, you know, especially in my line of work, I have opportunities to partner with other businesses, but I have to keep those same things in line. What are their values? What do they believe in? Because you don't want to, I don't want to say get involved, right? Because it's definitely, you don't want to lock in a long-term agreement or whatever with somebody that you're not sure if you guys are on the same page, because it's challenging, because the ultimate goal, like you said, is that growth, is this, the scaling, is the development for each side, right? That's the idea of that partnership, is you guys are both benefiting from it, and you're both growing, right, in your own industry, in your own field, whatever it is. Same thing with bringing on an employee. You're not bringing on an employee. You're building a partnership with somebody that should align with your business and your values. I mean, for the longest time, I was riding solo. I was me, myself, and I. That was it. And I had a couple people that I was thinking about or wanted to, you know, even friends, right? Yeah. And it's nothing on them directly, but it was one of those where not only you have to make sure that schedules can align and everything, you know, all that, but is it something that they see themselves investing into? And at the same part, you also have to remember that not everybody's going to be as invested in your business as you, right? As the business owner, this is it. I am the most obviously, because it's my business. I want it to be successful. Yeah. So understanding and finding that middle ground of whoever you do bring in, they're gonna want to be, you know, invested in the business, but they might not be at that top level. But again, working with somebody that can kind of help and be an outside perspective and partner, bring
Yeah.
those partners together, it helps kind of understand like this is something that will benefit you
Yeah.
and then also benefit them.
One of the things that we did that I think is every business should do is I sat down with everybody at Virtual Concierge Service, all of our VAs that we deploy into businesses, and we had a goal meeting. I want to understand your goals. I want to understand your personal goals, your financial goals, your business goals, your career goals. I want to know what your goals are. What's your purpose, right? And then my job as a leader is to see if we can align your goals with the business goals, because by creating alignment, we're going to go a lot further.
Oh, yeah.
And, you may not be aligned with our business, and that is perfectly fine. I wish you the best, but you aren't going to work here.
Yeah.
If you're not cool, we'll put in your 2 weeks. We'll give you the time. I want to put the right people on the bus that create alignment.
Yeah.
How many business owners don't know their people's goals? A lot. The majority.
And
the majority of small
sad,
business owners don't know their people's goals, but they're trying to go somewhere with them.
Yeah. It's almost like when walking a dog and your dog wants to go one way and you got to kind of pull that leash and you're like, come on, we're going this way.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys both want to go this, it's a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
And no, I did the same thing. And from a business perspective, right? I did it because I wanted to make sure that, in a month they weren't going to be like, hey, I'm doing my own thing now. I'm going to go do that. Like, I want to make sure like if we're getting into that long-term relationship, like just like in your personal life, like when you have your significant other, you at some point have that conversation of where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in the future? And make sure like you guys are on the same path, right? It doesn't have to be as intense as a conversation as your personal life, but it's the same idea, right? And the other thing is, just like you're saying, for example, one of the virtual assistants I have, he loves videography. I'm like, dude, I'm in the business of videography. Like, how can I help you? Right? Like, what are your goals? Do you want to get into shooting videography, making videos? Do you want to get into photography? Like, is that what you want to do? Because as somebody that's been in the business for 5-6 years, right? From freelance to now owning a business, that's something like I can help you with, but I don't know that until you tell me. And that's where that goal conversation comes in, because it also makes them feel wanted or valued. And that's the biggest thing.
Understanding people, if I have people that want to be a team lead, but I don't have team lead positions, or I'm not creating those team lead positions, well, shame on me, right?
Yeah.
Right? If I say we're going this way, but I'm not creating or facilitating that for them, now I'm not going to give away those. They have to, apply and go through it, right? I'm not giving handouts on longevity. You have to prove yourself in everything that you do and work up to it. If that's your goal, you got to show it, right? So one, it's understanding their goals, it's helping them get there, and it's holding them accountable to what they said they wanted to do, right? That's the job as a leader. And so that's my job, is to facilitate that. And what's great is those are applicable in every business,
regardless of whatever you're doing.
So
exactly.
We're basically, hey, find people where business owners are weak, get them staffing for that, get them all aligned, get our person aligned with their mission and values and goals, which we already should be. Our companies should both be aligned, so that should be an easy transition.
Yeah.
Right. And then managing and making sure they're hitting the targets, making sure that they're, finding the inefficiencies in a business, because maybe we can help them out more. And that's our goal, is growth. So if a business doesn't want to grow, I really don't want to partner up with them, because we're not aligned, right? Our growth should be aligned. And, company-wide trainings is what we do. And I almost look at us, we're a training organization for the virtual assistant industry. So we can help businesses the way that they want to be helped, right? Like you should be hiring because of growth, and that's exactly what we're doing.
No, it makes a lot of sense, and I think that growth and aligning, it's a necessary step to get to that long term, that long goal of yours of growth.
Yeah.
So let me kind of switch gears a little bit. So when bringing on your virtual assistants, right? How do you guys vet on your end the actual VA to bring into and have them ready to go for the next business that needs somebody in that field?
Oh yeah. I mean, hiring, right? Making sure we're filtering the right people, right? Knowing the business needs and then bringing on the right people is essential, because, I don't want you to have to go hire somebody that doesn't work out and then rehire. And then, so what we do is we screen them on our end. So they go through a hiring process on our end before they even get to our clients for them to hire. So we do our own hiring process where we're filtering them out, making sure that this company is a fit for our values, our mission, and our vision as a company.
Yeah.
And then transitioning them to an interview process with 3 to 4 candidates for the client to interview, because they're going to be working for their business. So our clients need to interview 3 or 4 candidates that we've already pre-vetted so that they can bring on. We monitor the interview, we record it, for just training purposes. And then we're observing it, making sure that it went smoothly. I mean, how many businesses, right? They can hire, but they don't necessarily know how to hire. They don't have
what to look for,
or the questions to ask. So I want to be there to make sure, one, they've asked the right questions. If not, to be a sounding board for how, when, maybe what things that I saw that could need improvement. Because that's why we're here, right?
Yeah.
I'm here to help the business in every step of the way through this process. And a lot of times what businesses discover is by bringing us on board, we've helped them clean up their processes. We provide systems for their business without them even realizing. So it's plug and play at that point, right? So now if this person didn't work out, well, we've already created a process and system around it for you.
Now we find somebody
so we can just plug them right in.
So smart. Yeah.
So we systemize, and the beauty of systemizing your business is now once you start hiring people, you create a sellable business. Nobody wants to buy a business that doesn't have systems and processes in place. Or if they are buying, it's because they see a good business where they can implement those systems and processes to help them grow and to get ROI on their investment. So by utilizing our service, it helps with growth. It helps fuel that growth.
And all these different
things that you didn't even realize. Oh my gosh, I have a system around scheduling. I have a system now in process around lead generation. By hiring Virtual Concierge Service, our scheduling improved, right? Because that's
now
what I do.
You're more efficient.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I've run into is when, as a sole business owner, right? As somebody that it's like I said, me and a couple assistants, when I go on vacation, when I need a break, take a weekend off, before I felt like, well, I'm going to pick up the business right where I left off, right? There's not going to be any momentum in that window. Like if I want to go take a week vacation, and do a little, hang out with the family, like the tip, that work-life balance, I want to make sure that my business is moving while I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Because it's tough to take a week off, especially if you have things in place that need to be done. Right. If you have to keep your business moving, right? You can't just tell your clients, hey, I'm taking a week off. Sorry, we're going to be delayed in whatever industry you do. Right. Same thing with like lawn services. If you wanted to take a week vacation, okay, you still need to be able to send invoices, make sure things are happening on time. Obviously, you're going to have to find somebody to cover cutting the grass, but a lot of that you could also schedule out to where you're like, okay, I have a couple of days where I'm not actually going out and cutting the grass, but I need to set up schedule appointments, figure out when things are working, right?
Yeah.
That all can take place while you're doing whatever, right? From a work-life balance while you're on vacation. But from like an efficiency standpoint with your business, that all can be taking place while you're knocking on 10 different doors, now bringing in 10 more potential clients. You know what I mean? Like and I think that's kind of with what we've talked about all the time, it's a no-brainer at this point.
I have a property inspection business. I have a lead generation business for real estate investing. I did merchant processing, right? I was never in the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
I was never in that. Like I never scheduled inspection because we hired, right? I've never done 100 calls in a day for lead generation because I have VAs that do that. I give them a script. I learned from somebody who had already done that to give them the script. So now my time is focused on when they get a hot lead for the lead generation business, I schedule a meeting and I try to close that real estate deal, right? So now my time shouldn't be done in menial tasks. So many business owners, especially in the inspection industry, and I'll touch on this for a little bit. If you are scheduling your own inspections, you are not a business owner. You're self-employed. If you are your office and you're the inspector as well, you are not a business owner. You are self-employed. And so what we can do is we can help you with scheduling. We can help you with, social media, marketing, all that stuff, right?
It's needed.
And so when you go on vacation, inspections will still get scheduled without you having to do the nitty gritty. And this is where, I allow people to make mistakes, make decisions without me there if they've reached that certain height where they can.
If they get to
right?
that checkpoint,
hey,
right?
if we have a complaint comes in the inspection business and it's a severe complaint and it checks a certain number of boxes, refund the inspection. Why do I need to be approved for a refund of inspection? Now you could say, well, if it's a big item, like maybe they're asking for 5,000, couple grand, 2, 3, 4, 5,000. Okay, I need to be brought in on that issue.
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, that's a bigger, it escalates. Or I have a manager that's been with me doing inspection that can manage that so I don't have to as a business owner. Right?
But kind of knowing where that falls in the...
Knowing where it falls, right? Like, what's your time valued at? Why would you be doing scheduling when if your time's valued at $100 an hour, $50 an hour? Like, why would I do those tasks? I need to focus on how can the business run more efficiently? Hey, what email campaigns can bring in how can we structure the email campaigns better to get more leads? But I'm not the one pushing the button on the email campaign. I have a VA that's crafting the emails, that's bringing them to me. I'm on a high level. Hey, after you get done these email campaigns, let's go sit down on a 30-minute meeting
and review.
And I'm going to go over and review those emails. You're going to make the adjustments. And then we're going to bust this campaign up. So I'm not even doing that. Hey, I'm giving a presentation to a real estate office and I'm not creating the PowerPoint. I'm not doing any of that.
But at the same time,
I'm doing the high level task of showing up and doing the presentation to bring business to us.
And in that same time, with having somebody aligned with your business, that even though you're not doing it, it's still falling in line with your business. It's not going to be a PowerPoint on something completely different.
They work just for my business.
That's exact. It's so smart.
They know my business.
Yeah.
Right. And this is where you can get lost in the world of VAs because they're working for this business and this business and this business. No, that defeats the purpose of alignment.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's the call center example.
Yeah.
I want them answering the phones just for my business. And what's the beautiful thing about it is if I want my phones answered 24 hours a day, I can do that with a VA. If you're in that service business where, I need an answer. I need somebody on call every day for emergencies.
Perfect.
Cool. We got you covered.
Yeah.
Right. We can literally answer phones, lead generation, no matter where you are, coast to coast.
While you're sleeping.
Yeah. They can be doing things, answering customer queries. If you run a business that's 24 hours, right, and you're selling throughout the world and you need somebody there to just manage the flow of your office, we got you covered. And that's the beauty and that's the power of what we do, right? Yeah. And we want you to grow. At the end of the day, I don't want you to be stagnant. If like I said, I'll say this 100 times. If you don't want to grow, don't hire us.
Yeah.
we are the wrong partner for you.
Yeah, don't
we are
come
the
knocking.
wrong partner for
Yeah.
you. We literally want you to grow, and I want to help you grow.
Yeah. The coolest thing, and it might have been one of the first times that we sat down and talked, talking about VAs. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure you touched on that a virtual assistant, if you really kind of look at it, they shouldn't cost you anything, right? Yeah, you're going to have to pay for that virtual assistant, but the idea is that if that you bring on somebody that's efficient, that lines with your values, the value they're bringing to your business will outweigh that cost and then some.
Outweigh the cost.
Yeah.
And, and by using the global economy, you're bringing on somebody who this is probably one of the best jobs they've ever had. Right. So it's not like this menial job. This is like they are grateful for the work that they have.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's just beautiful in itself, working with people who are grateful to have an opportunity in
very
your
refreshing
business. It's so refreshing. I mean, I've done the inspections. I've hired a lot of people through that business. I've hired people who didn't work out, who were negative, who weren't happy, were depressed, all this stuff. And it weighs on you, right? Because managing people can be difficult because they have the baggage that comes with it. Well, with us, we're dealing with that for you, but we're also screening to prevent those types of issues, right? So we want it to be seamless. We want it to be a partner with you. So you're not doing it alone.
Yeah.
You're not dealing with the headaches alone. We are, one, hopefully you're not dealing with headaches, but two, we're helping relieve those and make sure that they don't even happen in the first place.
So it sounds like what you guys do is you almost have like a team ready to go, right? So you vet, onboard, and start training your virtual assistants and have them kind of like warmed up, right? Right. Like before a basketball game, they're already ready to go, just waiting for a business to say, hey, I need somebody to do this. And then you're like, perfect. I already have somebody. They obviously you have to get that transition into whatever that business is, but you're not like, okay, give me a couple weeks. I'll go find somebody that work. No, you're like the turnaround of when somebody reaches out to you and when you can help them or start implementing is days.
They've already, I mean, it depends on your need, right?
True.
It depends on what the training looks like. But we want them to begin training with your business as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Right. Once you hire, or once we go through the screening process and you interview your VA, I want them working with you as soon as possible, because then the training with your company begins. But prior to that is they've gone through our training.
Yeah.
Our business training, our leadership
training. It warms
training.
them up. They're already on pace.
Because they work with Virtual Concierge Service, and we're a growth organization. So there's training where they need to become familiar with our mission, our values, what is leadership, all these certain things that are going to help Virtual Concierge get to the next level is the same principles that are going to help this business get to the next level.
Yeah.
It's just now they begin their training process with that new business on the tasks that they want them to do.
Perfect. All right. I think we dove into some solid information. I appreciate you sitting down and letting me pick your brain. It's one of those where I think this is definitely a topic that people are extremely interested in. Yeah. I think there's a lot of people that aren't sure, or they really don't fully understand how or what it looks like. What I would say is talk to Joey. Yeah. I mean, we've talked for a while.
Yeah.
You've helped me. I mean, we're got a lot of things going back and forth. I think you have a lot of knowledge. So even if you have questions or anything where you're like, man, I don't even know what the first step is. The best choice is to
reach out to me.
Reach out to you.
Yeah. Reach out to me, guys. Even if it's a question about business, right? Even if you don't even know that you need to hire. I've built 3 companies up now, and I have a lot of that knowledge that
trial
if you're
and
just
error
getting started, if you're trying to expand, you don't know where to turn. use me as a resource. I'd love to help you. Shoot me a DM message. I'm here.
Perfect.
And then if it's a fit to bring on somebody and you need that, we're here to help.
Love it. All right, guys, we are going to wrap this one up. I'm going to put all your information down, tag you, post, put it all down there, get everything squared away and linked. And definitely a good, quick way if they have any questions, or anybody is looking for help to get in contact with you. But yeah, that'll do it, guys. Catch you on the next one.
Perfect.
See you guys.